August is here once again, and it's absolutely packed with video games vying for your attention. I'm here to take you through the cream of the crop, from the AAA to the free-to-play, and the hidden gems along the way. Hello there, I'm Adam. Stick around for your monthly dose of bad dad jokes at the end. August, new games. Here we go. Let's do this. Coming very early in the month, on the 8th in fact, is the return of Mafia. This time we're going back to the old country. Set in Sicily around the time of mass migration from Italy to the USA, this one is a prequel. A cinematic linear story is the main focal point, making this Mafia more akin to the original games rather than the sprawling open world seen in Mafia 3. We'll be living through the origins of organised crime in third person, slowly climbing up the underworld ladder while trying to be a good guy by doing things no good guy would ever do. Because being in the Mafia is a way of life. There has been a few questions levied at the developers, as some elements of the game do seem a little unpolished, like magically teleporting weapons when selected, and seemingly invulnerable cars when grenades explode right beside them. To be honest, I don't think 1900s explosives were as powerful as today's grenades, but I also understand this could be immersion breaking for some players. That said, look how good the facial animations look, and Mafia the Old Country is not a full-priced game. It instead retails at $50, which is €50, or 40 quid here in the UK, so maybe the prices reflect the decisions made in-game. Either way, I have faith the story will be good. Mafia the Old Country drops on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series and PC on August 8th. Next, I had planned to talk about another huge game, Dying Light the Beast. The open world parkour zombie apocalypse brought back the main character from the first game, Kyle Crane, with super undead powers. But before we can get too excited about this, a couple of days ago, Dying Light the Beast was delayed. Thankfully, it's only for a month. It's now coming on September 19th, so let's talk about it in next month's video. And speaking of delayed games, back in May, Lost Soul Aside was supposed to release, and suddenly it vanished. Well, thankfully it's back again and drops on August 29th. Even further back than that, in 2014, we were told about a single lone developer creating a game that took inspiration from Final Fantasy and gameplay more akin to Devil May Cry. Since then, Sony got involved and the project ballooned in size and scope. We play as Kaiser, whose sister's soul has been stolen by interdimensional aliens, and it's up to us to save Sis and the entire human race. Luckily, we have a shape-shifting dragon by our side who becomes the weapons we need to fight back. And we won't be stuck on our own boring planet. We'll be crossing dimensions ourselves to battle in other worlds, which also bring in platforming mechanics to break up the chaotic action. Lost Soul Aside hits PlayStation 5 and PC on August 29th. PlayStation and Xbox are swapping games this month, with Gears of War coming to PlayStation for the first time ever, while Helldivers 2 jumps onto Xbox on the very same day. Gears of War Reloaded is one of Xbox's biggest franchises, a third-person shooter, well, tactical cover shooter would be more appropriate, finding weapons to advance on enemy troops while staying out of their sightlines. One of the coolest weapons in all video games is here, the Lancer Assault Rifle, which has a mounted chainsaw for close-range melee. It's great. In campaign, we must face off with the Locust Hordes flanked by AI teammates, whereas in competitive, you must rely on real people, in 4-on-4 battles. And back in the day, this mode was the thing that kick-started the competitive scene on Xbox. Gears of War Reloaded hits PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox on August 26th. And that's also when Helldivers 2 goes to Xbox. They can join the ranks of Super Earth and fight alongside PC and PS5 to bring democracy to the universe. One of the most amusing, fun and frustrating multiplayer PvE shooters ever made, mainly due to friendly fire. Take a look-see at Sword of the Sea, from the creators of the Sublime Abzu and the Pathless, and including devs who worked on Journey. And those three games will tell you all you need to know about this one. Before we look any further though, it's worth noting that this will drop directly into PS Plus Extra if you're a subscriber. We play as Wraith, who explores an abandoned sand-covered world on his hover sword. Our task is to collect ocean seeds which bring back the water to this desolate world. From the footage I've seen, it looks like a real Zen exploration game crossed with Tony Hawk's. We also know the world is hiding a mystery, and to unlock it, we must first understand the civilization that once called this place home. Sword of the Sea comes to PlayStation 5 and PC on August 19th. hey, we're already 1 foot into free-to-play games, so let's jump in there next. And it's here at last. Delta Force is coming to console. And if you're a PC player, you should also know that means controller support is finally fully supported on PC too. The first-person tactical shooter in which we play as a military operator who can be one tiny part of a large-scale PvP war, flanked by vehicles, whether that's aircrafts or tanks, or if we prefer, we can be a bigger part of a small elite team who must go behind enemy lines to procure intel in Delta Force's extraction mode. And there's also a single-player campaign which is a remake of the Black Hawk Down story from the movie back in 2001. All in all, Delta Force plays more like Battlefield than Call of Duty, with a slight more focus on simulation rather than arcadey sliding around, dressed as Beavis and Butthead. No shade intended. Delta Force hits PS5 and Xbox Series on August 19th, which will likely be the same update day that brings full controller support to the PC version. Another free game, which has an ambiguous release date of summer 2025, is Skate. First, let's define what summer means, and that's between June 21st and September 22nd. So August sounds like a good time to talk about it. Skate is the contender to Tony Hawk's crown, which also ditched its numbering system. This would have been Skate 4, by the way, and will be a fully free-to-play, ultra-social game that gives us a fictional open-world city to use as our playground. From realistic street-level lines to master, to more outlandish building rooftop jumping. We'll be challenging our friends and bumping into strangers. And as you can see, this is trying to be both arcadey and simulation at the same time, which may frustrate some Skate purists, but may invite in more of the Tony Hawk's crowd this time around. As soon as an exact date is known, I'll pin it in the comments below. Right now, Skate could drop at any second in early access on PlayStation, Xbox and PC, with mobile versions and a Switch version in the unconfirmed pipeline. Skate is coming in summer. The next free game is unlikely, but I feel like I have to mention it because of some leaks that have happened. Arknights Endfield is an action RPG that combines team-based fights with a sim-like factory creator. Set in an open world, we awake and must rediscover our memories and powers to once again be the protector of the lands. According to PC outlets, Arknights Endfield is coming before August 30th. As that's when their license to release expires. Take that with a pinch of salt, as they could easily ask for an extension, so I'm not quite sure why this is getting such fuel. That said, Arknights Endfield will be coming to Gamescom in August and will be fully playable, so that will either coincide with the release, or I think, more realistically, we should get a release date. My guess is November. But hey, if the PC bros are right, this is coming in August. Okay, let's go back to premium games right now, and at the end of August is one of the games I've been waiting for years. Finally, the return of Metal Gear Solid, a remake of Snake Eater, now with the codename Delta. First released in 2004, Snake Eater was seen by many as the best in the franchise, as we were dropped in behind enemy lines, armed with a silenced pistol, relying mainly on our sneaking skills and close combat action, or CQC as it's called, in this jungle setting. In stealth mode, we can adapt our camouflage to blend into almost every scenario, like covering ourselves in mud or recreating the pattern of bricks and stone, all to allow Snake to remain unseen. Delta also brings in an amazing cuts and bruises system that remembers each of the injuries we take along our journey, so my Snake will be scarred differently than yours, making everyone's journey unique. Elsewhere, we'll have two options for the camera positioning, with a modern cam or a classic version like the original game for purists. And like the OG game, Snake vs Monkey mode returns, and Xbox don't miss out on this, as theirs will feature Bomberman instead, which is pretty cool. Oh, and there'll also be an online fox hunt mode, which heavily relies on our camo skills, and essentially is an adult version, a deadly version of hide and seek. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater comes to PS5, Xbox Series and PC on August 28th. I couldn't pick a 10th game, so here's 3 worth your attention. SHINOBI Art of Vengeance is a 2D action platformer that takes the SHINOBI series back to its roots by none other than the team who brought us Streets of Rage 4. Coming on August 29th on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, the PC and the Switch. Lone Wolf is a roguelike survival game from the Bendy universe, as we take control of Boris into the endless corridors looking for supplies and weapons, uncovering secrets about the Bendy lore in the process, arriving on August 15th on the PS4, the PS5, the Xboxes and the Switch. And then there's Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, which again is jumping from Xbox to PlayStation 5 on August 12th, doubling the frame rate to 60 FPS and bringing more enhanced features too. The third-person action-adventure game looks amazing and is said to improve massively on the original's combat and puzzle systems, which it definitely needed to improve on, so that could be a good one. So that's August's new games done and dusted. You got through another monthly video, and in return, I owe you some dad jokes, like this one. I was in the airport the other day and a guy passed out on the baggage carousel. It took a few minutes, but he slowly started coming around. How does The Rock pee? He Dwayne's his Johnson. Should I say that with a lisp? How does The Rock pee? He Dwayne's his Johnson. No, that just sounds offensive. Sorry. Sorry about that. How does an Englishman invite a dinosaur to lunch? T-Rex? Yeah, that's just bad. I apologise. Here, why don't dinosaurs make good pets? Because they're all dead, you idiot. I'm sorry. I'm Adam. You're awesome. It's been a pleasure. See ya.